News Talk 820 WBAP, excuse me, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset. 800-288 WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Okay, Rashee Rice issuing a public apology. He's the Kansas City Chief star who was just in the Super Bowl, who is from North Richland Hills originally, at least went to high school there and then went to SMU, is in big trouble for having a Corvette registered under his name and a Lamborghini rental under his name. I'm looking at this video slower and slower. There's a couple versions of it on TMZ. I'll tweet it out here in a little bit, but it's shocking because you see it happen from a different viewpoint than we've seen before, and you see that these two cars just come around and just slam into other cars, and what's really appalling that I just watched is this video from TMZ, which again I'll tweet out in a second on my Twitter feed at Chris Crock Show. That's at Chris Crock Show, CHRISKROK. What's really appalling is one of the guys, actually all of them, are walking away and acting like everything's normal, like they're just, when you're walking by you in a street and it's on the side of 75 after they abandoned a Lamborghini and a Corvette. Why? They appear to be in their mental faculties. I don't know if they're high or drunk or if they have weapons on them that are illegal. I don't know, but this is insane to cause this in broad daylight and then to walk away from it. And what's really bizarre, the first person walking by, and I'm not going to play this because there could be some profanity or something like that, but the first person walking by is one guy who has like a kind of a briefcase or something in his hand. What's in there? Is it a weapon? Is it drugs? I don't know, but everything is suspicious when you see this. And then you have four other people walking behind, one with his arm around the other. I don't know if it's a woman and a man or what, but there's three of them walking, and everything's normal, just kind of hurriedly walking down the street as if they're walking on, what do you call it? What am I thinking of? Where's the nightlife where you get shot all the time? Not in the OC. What's the... Deep Ellum. It's like you're in Deep Ellum just walking by, bar hopping after this crash. And it's just, this guy asks him, are you okay? Where are you going? And they don't say anything. It's just revolting. And, So Rashee Rice releases a statement saying that he has with a photo of his signature, like he's autographing the statement. It's unbelievable. On Instagram today, I met with Dallas police investigators regarding Saturday's accident. It is not an accident. It's a crash. You were reckless driving. I take full responsibility for my part in this matter. Will continue to cooperate with the necessary authorities. I sincerely apologize to everybody impacted by it. No, dude, you got caught. You were hiding for 4 days like a little coward and a little child, and now you want to come out and pretend like you're a hero. You're not, and I hope they nail you with everything. It's a class, I want to make sure I get this right. It is a third-degree felony, 2 to 10 years in prison, up to $10,000 fine, reportedly for leaving the scene when there's an injury with crashes, and there's vehicles that are incapacitated, which there were on all this stuff. It's unbelievable what this man did in broad daylight and then hides for 4 days. Cops had to search for him, were looking for him. The Dallas Morning News says a police call sheet released by the news confirmed law enforcement was searching for him. It's unclear. Police have since determined who was driving which car. So this is not a man that's owning anything. This is a man who left the scene, fled the scene with his people that were there with him, and God knows what was going on. He's a coward, a child. And my questions are, do you want Rashee Rice to be punished just as severely as you and I would be if we did this? And do you think he will be punished as much as we would be? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Let's go to Mitch in Denton. You're on 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP. Hey, Mitch.
Hello, how are you, sir?
All right, sir. How are you?
Doing good. So I was listening to your comment in my car, and so I had called in, and I was just going to make a comment that, I saw those videos, and, I saw that there were emergency vehicles there present.
Right.
So I'm not sure that Rashee failed to stop and render aid, because he did wait there at the scene until emergency vehicles arrived, and he's not a paramedic, so I don't really understand how he would have the opportunity to render aid when that's, outside his wheelhouse of what he's entitled to do. I mean, did you expect for him to, give CPR or, do some type of heroic effort on a crash.
Let me ask you this. If somebody, even if they're not at fault, if somebody is in a crash and you are going to go to the hospital, there were 2 people hospitalized in this, and 2 were treated on the scene. If you were in a crash, and whether it's your fault or not is irrelevant, would you stop? Would you stay there? And would you make sure that you get the information of everybody and give everybody your information? And also, if law enforcement is being called, would you exchange information with everybody and make sure everything's okay before you left?
Depending on what city or municipality that the accident happened in, I would generally wait around. But response times in Dallas are,
they're 4 hours, 6 hours. In this one, it was quick because it was a bad crash on 75, as you saw, 2 people hospitalized. So that's it's blocking a major, as you know, interstate. But would you ever leave a crash where cars are left incapacitated, and would you just walk away from it, like, and just ditch your car like that? Would you do that?
I wasn't realizing this interview was what I would personally do. I thought we were talking about Rashee, but me personally, depending on the situation and depending on how long it took for
let's say this situation where crashes have happened, people's cars are inoperable, and you don't have everybody's information, they don't have yours, you're part of the crash, and would you just walk away from the crash if your car was inoperable like that? Would you just walk away from it?
Honestly, I can't say what I would do in that situation.
Yes, absolutely, you're right. I mean, you might just walk away from the whole thing. I mean, you might walk. I mean, I'm thinking about the crash I had. It's about 5 miles from my house. Last one was pretty bad. And just get up, leave, and walk out. And that's normal for you.
Well, it's not normal for me.
Why is that not normal for you? Why would you stay there? And why would you want to give information, get insurance information? Why would you stay there? What would lead you to want to stay there?
To be able to obtain the other party's insurance information.
Why would you want that? Why would you want that?
Well, so I could be reimbursed for any damages to my vehicle and let the insurance company sort it out as to whose fault it is.
What would you do if the person that you were trying to get the information for to sort this out and report it to your insurance agency so you're not responsible? You know what I mean? You didn't do it. What would you do if they started walking away?
I would just take their license plate number and not engage with the party that was walking away because
but it wouldn't
I'm not
be
in law enforcement.
It wouldn't be a big deal to you, though. It wouldn't be a big deal to you if they walk away and just leave you in a crash.
It's really not a big deal because I look at it this way. The damages in America have segued into financial compensation, and every person that was involved in that situation is going to be financially compensated and made whole. And I can
How do you know that? How do you know that?
Because I know that Mr. Rice or Rashee.
Do you know him personally?
Insurance. I don't know him personally. I just know that he has insurance.
How do you? What insurance company does he have? How do you know that? What insurance company does he have?
Because one of them was a leased vehicle through an agency, and I saw the gentleman on the news that owns the company. There is no way that you can lease a vehicle.
Okay, but you just told me he was insured, so everything's fine. But you don't even know how he's insured or what his insurance is, what his liability is.
I just know that somebody that has that financial means would not ride around without at least liability insurance.
Okay. So you're going to take their word as they walk away from you. You're not going to be worried about you being made whole. You're going to sit there and relax. You're not going to call the cops either. You're just going to be like, well, I'll get his license plate and tell my insurance agency some guy hit me and left me. No big deal.
I mean, it's really not that big a deal because...
Okay. All right, thank you very much. I think you've talked yourself off a ledge on this one. I don't think anybody listening would ever do what you did. You're on 75 with your family, and some guy is speeding and reckless driving and crashes into you and totals your car. You're going to go to the hospital, and the people with you in the car, everybody acts like it's normal, lets them walk away. It's no big deal. I am astounded at the level of dancing around on one, like a ballerina, pretending like this is normal. I am astounded, man. I am absolutely astounded at you and your level of expectations. And it would be unacceptable, inconceivable, and I would call 911 the second somebody started walking away from that. And the first thing I would do is say, that person's high or drunk. and that person hit me, and that person hurt me, and that person wronged me, and they're going to be paying the law enforcement, and they're going to answer law enforcement to my insurance company and my attorney. And here you are acting like, it's no big deal. I'm just on 75, slammed into the side of the road, and now I'm in the hospital. No big deal. I'm sure whoever it is that hit me, I don't know who he is, he walked away. It's not a big deal. Hey, what if he's high? No big deal. It happens all the time. Man, I don't know what third world country you live in. But that's not my world. Never has been, never will. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. We have Zach in Mineral Wells, Amber in Farmersville, and Ernest in Dallas. Boom, boom, boom. You're next. Chris Crock Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM 93.3. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 2 lines open. I am astounded. I am absolutely astounded at some of the folks that are calling in today. I can't believe it. Okay, Rashee Rice coming out today and says he signs his autograph. He blesses us with his autograph on an Instagram post where, after being a coward for 4 days, and he's still a coward to me and a man-child, crashing in his Corvette under his name and a Lamborghini rented under his name, smashing in at 6:30 in the afternoon on a Saturday while you and I are trying to get home with our children or going to church or dinner or something with our wife or our family to a date downtown Dallas or God knows what. And then it's horrific to see these guys slam into a median by 75, Central Expressway and University, and then slam into a back of a car that's just driving for no reason. Then they're insanely speeding and speed racing as if it's their own personal speedway, and they walk away. He and everybody in both cars, they just walk away, and there's stuff in their hands. I don't know if they're high or they got drugs or weapons or something, but they walk away like everything's normal. And then, like, I've had 2 or 3 callers in the past hour be like, "Oh, hey, what's the big deal? This is a big deal. Oh, what?" I have been in crashes. You have been too. Can you imagine somebody smashes into you like this, and you're hospitalized? 2 of the people were hospitalized, and 2 of them were treated on the scene, and your car's totaled, and the guy walks away, just flees. And the last caller, well, it's no big deal. I just, get his plates. What? Everything's fine. Wow. Okay, 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Let's go to Amber in Farmersville. You're on, 8:20 a.m. and now 93.3 FM WBAP. Hey, Amber.
Hi, thanks so much for taking my call.
Thank you.
My question is, who was driving the second car? It's highly publicized that the famous guy was driving the first car. Mm-hmm. Who was driving the second car, and why aren't they being villainized as much as the first driver?
That's what's amazing, because he owns the first car, Rashee Rice. The other car was under Rashee Rice's name too. So, it was him and somebody apparently that he knows, with 2 or 3 other children in the car, adult children acting like children, you know what I mean? And they are driving like they're speed racing on a private speedway, or they've rented out Texas Motor Speedway for the day or something, and they slam into a wall, and they slam into all of these cars and have a 6-car crash, and all the people in Rashee's car and Rashee's rental car, so he had both these were in his name. Okay, so they're obviously associated with...
There has to be 2 drivers, sir. There has to be 2 drivers.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Ma'am, obviously, you think...
Yes,
I don't think he can drive with the 2 cars. He's an NFL guy, but I don't think he can do that. But point being is they're both under his name. I assume that one of them wasn't stolen since it was racing with him, right? So the point
Correct.
being is this is him and apparently people that are with him, friends or who knows what. And they're having a race, and they're ignoring you and me on the road with our families, or our wives or our husbands go to a date. I think about going downtown for a date or something, slam into us, hospitalize us, and just walk away.
It's insane. But my question is, why is only one driver being publicized and the other is a mystery? Because
here's why. Only one person's name has been mentioned. The other 4 people are unknown. This Rashee Rice, since it was under his name, I think that's why he's instead of hiding out, he hid out for 4 days and he lawyered up and then came forward. Oh, this was me that crashed and walked away, apparently, right? So we don't know who anybody is because they're not talking because they don't think they have to answer to anything.
They're protected by the shroud of
Rashee Rice.
Rashee Rice, yes.
who, I mean, they're both, as far as I'm concerned, he's responsible for it all, unless somebody stole the other car and was racing with them. I mean, if somebody steals your car, I mean, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know who drove the other car, but I know it was under his name. So to me, it looks like he and his friends were acting like they own the road and were driving insane and recklessly. This wasn't an accident. This is like drunken driving or reckless driving. It is. You know what I'm saying? Yes,
they should all be held responsible. But I just find it interesting that only the famous person's name is released and the other is a mystery.
Because the other 4 walked away and we don't even know who they are, and there's no reports of who they are. So that's why you don't know, because we don't know, because they don't want us to know. They're hiding. They were, at least. So this is what happens when you have 5 men that act like child, but one of them has a lot of money in the name, right? That they can do this kind of stuff. And go ahead.
Acting like a spoiled brat.
Yeah.
As an adult man.
You agree with me that Rashee Rice is a coward and a man-child, and is that correct? And then number 2, do you agree with me that they're most likely intoxicated or have weapons or both or something? That's why they left? I mean, why would you leave in broad daylight?
I think that there may be more going on. It's hard to speculate on that. They may have just been driving fast and got into a car accident, like, oh no, let's go.
Yeah.
So there may or may not have been something else going on, but either way, if it was you and I doing it on I-75,
we'd go to jail.
We would be sitting there in cuffs on the side of the highway. That's they sorted things out. Absolutely.
Thank you very much for your call, Amber. And great question. Who's the other people? Well, they don't want you to know. They're hiding. They ran. Let's see here. Let's go next to Zach in Mineral Wells. You're on News Talk. I should say 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP.
Yes, sir. I was calling to say that if that was any person that was not involved in that, they should lawyer up just like he did. Because of the fact that if we had the money to be able to do that, we wouldn't be in that situation. If that crash didn't happen and we didn't have money, we'd still be cruising down 75 or where they were. We'd be able to go down the road, typical low blow. But if we were to be going down the road 75 miles an hour and cause a wreck and not a big name, we'd be, judged to the maximum.
Yeah, I would assume we'd be arrested and thrown in jail and booked. We might be able to leave on bond that night, but we'd be jailed. This guy walked away in broad daylight. Everybody's got pictures of him.
In broad daylight.
That's right. It's unfreaking. And then he hides for 4 days. The cops couldn't find him anywhere, according to these reports.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
They'd knock down my door if it was me or you or...
Yes. Here's a direct quote by the Dallas Morning News. A police call she obtained by the news says law enforcement was searching for him, and he was listed as a suspect. He was hiding. He was not coming forward. He was hiding. He walked away. This is a much bigger crime to me. When you leave it, it's a felony in Texas. Number one. Some of the callers tonight have tried to excuse it. Well, when you walk away from a crash where people are injured and the cars are incapacitated and people are injured, have severe injuries like this or serious injuries, it's a felony, and it should be. All right, continuing next with your call. We got 2 lines open at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Gary and Glen Rose, Jason Grapevine, Joy Fort Worth, y'all coming up next. 2 lines open on News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM 93.3. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Guys, I am just blown away by some of the people calling in tonight. I'm still like, holy cow. I mean, people excusing what Rashee Rice is accused of doing. What he's come out today, by the way. And he autographed some photo, and he took a photo of his autograph or something like that. And then he put, today I met with Dallas police investigators according to Saturday's accident. I take full responsibility for my part in this matter, for the crash, of course, and will continue to cooperate with necessary authorities. I sincerely apologize to everybody impacted in Saturday's accident. It's unbelievable. You see TMZ video that came out I tweeted it out just a little while ago, and you see 5 people, including apparently Rashee's in there, walking away. Both cars are under his name. One's a rental Lamborghini. The other one is his Corvette, registered under his name, and NFL Chiefs player, of course. And he and somebody else are apparently driving recklessly, speeding and chasing each other or something like that. They slam into a guardrail. It's Saturday in the afternoon at 6:30. And they crashed into 4 cars, 2 of which 2 people are sent to the hospital, 2 are treated on the scene. Many of the cars appear to be totaled, and it's shocking that after that reckless, childish behavior, he and 4 others are accused of simply just walking away down the street as if they're just walking down the street going to some bar hopping or something, just walking casually. It's unbelievable. It's disgusting. And for Rashee to be hiding like a little child, a coward for 4 days, then coming out today and giving us his autograph on a statement on Instagram is breathtakingly arrogant and pathetic to me. And I think he's a coward and a child. And I wonder if he was intoxicated or had, unlawful weapons or something in the car with him, which is why maybe he walked away. You don't walk away when you do that. That is so angering to me. And and he said it's an accident. Regarding Saturday's accident, it wasn't an accident. It was a crash. It's just like drunken driving. Drunken driving is not an accident. Drunken driving is a crash. Your reckless driving led to a crash, not an accident. That was no accident. That was you recklessly driving, injuring several people. It is a a 3rd-degree felony, 2 to 10 years, fine of $10,000, up to $10,000. I want to know if you want Rashee Rice to be punished just as severely as you and I would be if we did this, and do you think he'll be punished as much as we would be? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Let's go to Gary and Glen Rose. You're on News Talk. I should say you're on 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP. Hi, Gary.
How you doing tonight?
Good, thanks.
Hey, I'm just as shocked as you are, but I'm not surprised on some of the callers the way they're responding.
What the heck?
When driving's a privilege, not a right.
That's exactly right.
And so when you take your driver's license, you have a responsibility to uphold, to obey the laws, and walking away, just like you described, from any kind of crash, leaving a scene of anything during a motor vehicle accident is a crime. And so when I hear your callers coming in saying this type of stuff, it's shocking, but I'm not surprised about how these people think today.
Why? Why are you a police officer? It sounds like you might be.
No.
Okay.
I am not.
Why? How can people, if folks listening don't know what happened? One guy called up and said it's no big deal. It's not a big deal to walk away from a crash, and what are you acting like it's a big deal about? Not a big deal. I'm like, well, what would you just walk away from a crash, and stuff like that? And if somebody just smashed everything up and just walked away, would you just act like everything's normal? And he was excusing it. It's been unbelievable with some of not everybody, but about maybe 1 out of every 4 or 5 callers tonight is shocking me.
No, I mean, it's how we hold people accountable today. We don't. And they don't take responsibility for what their actions are. And they realize, hey, I'm going to get a slap on the wrist, and so what's the big deal?
Two things.
So it starts at a young age.
Yeah.
It starts with our culture, and it's not good. So, I mean, it's shocking to me, and I'm really concerned about what people are saying today and about this. And
two things. You brought up a great point that has not come up yet, and I use that all the time, but I didn't tonight yet, and I'm glad you did, that driving is not a right. You do not have a right to drive. It's a privilege. Nope. You don't have any right to get into that car and drive. Number 2, if you're an insurance company, would you want to insure people that say stuff like they've been saying tonight about no big deal for somebody to crash and walk away like that?
Why do you think our insurance rates are so high?
Because of clowns like some of these people calling in tonight, excusing this behavior.
Exactly
it's
right.
Vile.
So,
and then you and I got to drive with people like these idiots on the road that think this is normal. They smash somebody and walk away. You and I got to drive with people like that. We got to pay for them.
Exactly right. So we got to have some changes, but we got to wake up. That's all we got to do as a society, and wake up and realize what's going on, and we got to take action. And so
Gary,
I don't know what else I can add to that.
Nothing, but that was a great call. You added a lot. Thank you, Gary. All right, Joy in Fort Worth, you've called in at 800. We got 4 lines open for the first time tonight. 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227, about the Rashee Rice crash. Joy in Fort Worth, you're on News Talk. I should say, I'm going to get this right. It's going to take me about a week. You're on 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP. Hello.
Hi. Yes, Chris, thank you for your program. I listen to it regularly.
Thank you.
Ditto to everything that's been said. I'm appalled that a man of his status would act with such childish behavior, especially driving he's a role model to a lot of people, that upcoming new drivers that first of all, but I am glad that he is apologizing. He's coming out of hiding after his ridiculous behavior of leaving a scene of a major crash. You're right. Dittos to everything you've said. He left the scene. This was not an accident. You're right. They were drag racing from the clip,
right,
the video that I've seen.
Yes.
And for the other call to say, I worked for several major insurance companies, and they acted like these were just throwaway cars. Also, another fact that I learned, the reason, I don't know what they were hiding, but to walk away from such a horrific accident shows sign of guilt, in my opinion. That's my opinion.
Oh, you visibly,
take some responsibility for what you've done.
Visibly, we can see the guilt with 2 cars. The first angle that came out before the TMZ stuff showed 2 cars racing, one getting in front of the other one and slamming into the left of the concrete median, the very tall concrete median that we're all familiar with. If you ride Central Expressway with regularity, especially when you're in the what do we call it? There's a word for it. It's like the cavern, where you're in between downtown and
the median.
Yeah, well, the it's like I don't know what you call it, but it's like it's not a tunnel, but it's like a cavern. When you go, as you're coming northbound, southbound on 75 Central Expressway, when you go somewhere around, I'm going to think about this now. I got to think about somewhere around Lake Highlands area. If you're gonna, where you get off and you head in towards Lake Highlands, right around there. I can't remember the road. I'm drawing a blank. And then when you head from that point south, when you get more like by SMU and stuff, it goes down on, not underground, but kind of underground.
Right.
And that area there, yeah. So that area there, it's just insane to see that go on and to act like that. And it's breathtaking. And what's more disturbing to me is to hear all these people try to pretend like this is somehow normal, or that we're making a big deal out of this. And I don't consider this guy a role model at all. Not before or during or after what he did. I just consider this man to be a criminal. His behavior was reckless. It was criminal.
I'm saying that he should be. He should act more responsible, considering his status, because of his. I know what you're saying. No, I don't consider him a role model now.
Like even before this, I don't consider necessarily. I don't really consider NFL people or sports people role models. I think that to me that's not even it's not an issue to me. Just personally, to me, what the issue is here, you acted like a reckless child.
So many people watch them.
Yeah,
they should be held to a higher standard.
That's true. I appreciate your call. That's where the NFL should be doing.
If I could just say one other thing, another thing I think they walked away is because there was that other driver was not listed as a driver when they rented that vehicle.
Oh, yeah.
That is illegal.
Okay, so you know what? I've been hearing something, and I didn't get this for sure, but, well, first of all, it was rented under his name is what the reports say, and I don't think anybody else is supposed to drive that, is what you're kind of alluding to.
Exactly. It's very illegal. You're in big hot water.
Yeah, yes.
When you don't list whoever else is going to be driving that rented vehicle.
I think I need to add something to this whole dimension of this, Joy, before I let you go, and that is this is a crime. This is a crime. Absolutely. Driving recklessly, crashing into people is a crime. It's reckless driving, and
absolutely.
And then number 2, fleeing the accident, which he did. You can walk gracefully away, like you're bar hopping, which is how he looked. Doesn't matter. That's a crime too. He committed multiple crimes to me: reckless driving, leaving the scene of a crash, and who knows what else could be involved with insurance things. But those are 2 crimes.
The scene is an act. you may have admitted you were guilty of something.
Oh yeah. To me, he's a criminal in this. His conduct is criminal.
Right.
Rashee Rice's conduct is.
Why else wouldn't you stay and wait and see,
Right.
and be a little bit more caring about? They were trying to wiggle out drag racing, trying to weasel in between other vehicles.
Yeah, and you don't have to be caring. You just have to sit there and exchange information and wait for the authorities to come.
True.
And he didn't do that. I appreciate your call, Joey. We got two lines open: 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. We have been wronged. And I'm really grateful to see you getting super passionate about this with me. We got two lines open. We're going to talk to Jason in Grapevine, Jeff in Fort Worth, and Dennis in Fort Worth. Plus your call at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Chris Crock Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, and now on FM at 93.3. Rashee Rice reportedly met with Dallas police, apologizes for the rolling crash. It is not a accident. That's why they wisely put the word crash at TMZ. It's not an accident when you're recklessly driving, which is a crime. In my eyes, unequivocally, and then to walk away from the scene of a crime that you did is even more of a crime. And we have one more. I love this because they highlight what I highlighted. TMZ. They great minds think alike. They said he Rice promised to continue to cooperate. Yeah, you were hiding for 4 days. He then autographed the statement with a virtual signature. Just what I said. He's autographing his Instagram post to us. Oh, thank you, Master. Oh, thank you, sir. Oh, you're blessing us with your autograph. Let's go to your call at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Let's go to Jason in Grapevine. Jason, you're on 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP.
Hey, yeah. The whole I haven't seen the video yet, but the whole situation sounds ridiculous. And in any situation like that, about the only thing you can do is call the cops after it happens. If you're the victim. I'm a Chiefs fan my whole life, and I gave up. I wouldn't recognize him if I seen him on the street after he did run into me. But I gave up years ago trying to figure out why celebrities do what they do and why they get away with it. It's a two-tiered system, and it's garbage, and that's the benefits of money.
Here's my philosophy. My philosophy is this, and it could happen to you or me as well. If you become very wealthy and very famous, with wealth gets power, and with fame also gets more power. And the more wealthy and the more famous and powerful you are, typically what happens with most of us, and I'll include myself, I'm not in that group, I'm just saying if I was, is that your issues that you have are magnified and get much like 5 times or worse or 10 times worse because we can get away with it, we're used to it. And then we get worse and worse and worse, and eventually we get nailed. Not every time, but I think that's what happens with these people. They're just like us, they're fallible, we all are. But you get to a point like this where how could you possibly think you could do this in the middle of the day like this? It's insane,
right.
Yeah.
If you remember years ago, there was a big long rash of Cowboys players who did all kinds of really stupid stuff, and most of them got away with it too.
Yeah.
So, but I think the bigger issue though is this is one guy, and it's stupid, and he needs to go to jail for it.
Yes.
I don't want to hurt my Chiefs, but he does need to pay for it.
Right.
But I think the bigger issue is how often this happens on a near daily basis with illegals who leave the scene and don't have insurance and all that stuff. It happens a lot in a whole lot of situations, not just this one gets a lot of attention because he's famous.
But we're going to talk about the illegals next, but isn't this amazing, though? This is just like the illegals. This is chaos. This is lawlessness. And this is walking away and just doing it in broad daylight and thinking everything's going to be fine and getting away with it. And then hiding for 4 days and then coming out and pretending like you're a star. Like, oh, look at me. Yay, touchdown. I'm coming out and owning it now. No. So this is chaos today. This is like the illegal immigration thing where you're just recklessly driving, doing what you want, and walking away. I appreciate your call, Jason. Thank you very much. Dennis in Fort Worth, you're on, 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP. Hi, Dennis.
Hey, I appreciate you taking the call. I'm a truck driver. Now I come into Dallas, Fort Worth. I come in 114, and I pass the racetrack.
Yes.
Coming into downtown Dallas.
Yes.
And you'd be surprised how many people are racing across 114, coming up on 635.
Yeah,
that split.
Mm-hmm.
I see it more than I care to talk about. I mean, and then if they're Maseratis or Porsches.
You know what? I see this too, by the way, like literally, because I go home at night, at midnight, with the shows being over at midnight, right? I see this all the time too on 75 heading northbound, and it's insane. And all you can do is hope to God they don't hit you, like this happened, you know? Yeah.
When I leave Dallas, I go up 635. I go up to Denton to go pick up my next load.
Yeah.
And I get past right and left, and these people are merging through traffic like it's and then they're going to misjudge something, and they're going to hit a minivan.
Just like this.
And yeah. But they come around me. They come around me on my left, and then they just, almost take my hood off going back to the right lane.
And you're in a semi.
Yeah.
Wow. Unbelievable.
And I'm doing highway speed, and then if they clip somebody, they're going to spin them, and then it's going to be so unexpected. I'm going to be on top of them.
You know, it's the things you see. You guys see so much stuff. Some scary things. Some things like you're talking about. Some inappropriately sexual things on the road. All sorts of stuff you've seen. I'm sure it'll come up another time on the show as well. Truckers and what you guys see every night. Thank you for your call, Dennis. I'm glad you're on the roads.